Morning.
Oh. Did we lose track of time? Not really.
No, not at all.
Yes. Trying to decide which pictures we were going to show of the house this morning. Because if you listen to this morning's podcast, it's finally the one of my house. And it was a longer one than we normally do, right? We normally do about 25 to like 32 minutes. This one was over 40. And that was even with me cutting out some things. So, that I'm like, that really doesn't make sense unless you were there or if you understood the other context. I'm like, we'll take that one out. We'll take that one out.
Yeah, but how long did you live there?
From like 2007 until like 2 years ago. So
there's a lot of years to cover. I mean, it's not like it stopped for a year and started up again. It was continual. If it wasn't this, it was that or the other thing.
yeah.
So,
And I thought for a while that maybe we had a portal because it seemed like sometimes it'd be fine. And then,
right.
But it was just nosy passing through. And,
Right.
I say a lot in that podcast, right? When you have 4 people living in a house, 2 of which are young kids, it's easy to be like, oh, those damn kids.
And that's what a lot of people think. No, the kid must have touched it, even though they're not supposed to. Until you actually catch them or you know that the kids didn't do it, it's hard. It really is hard.
Right. Love the podcast. Thank you. Do you have a pic of this home for those of us that didn't visit? I've got a few that we'll show here when we're done going through all of our good mornings. Well, thanks for joining. And if you're new and don't know about the podcast, it's called When Ghosts Speak. And it's available pretty much everywhere, though I was hearing from Brooke that the Audible wasn't going through, but Audible is a part of Amazon, so I don't know why Amazon didn't shoot it through, but it is showing up on Amazon Music. And if you're using Stitcher, Stitcher itself is completely shutting down. SiriusXM owns Stitcher. They're shutting down that whole thing. So they've been emailing everybody saying, hey, if you want to move your listening, so you might want to check for those emails if you're a Stitcher fan. But hello, it was cool and creepy. And I'm sure there's stories that like I've forgotten about. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get like my son to tell a couple of his stories. He was like, nah, I don't remember anything. I'm like, you just don't want to do this. And I could not line up. Hey, Kathy. A good time with my tenant, though she sent me a couple texts about what was going on. And yeah, so I kind of talk about what she's going on. And like, Marianne, I probably need to get some seats and take care of a couple spots for her.
Yeah, I take care of that garage.
Yeah. And I don't remember if I said in there, but like anything, I know I said anything mechanical or electrical in that garage is dying, but she's to the point where yet another 4 lawnmowers in 2 years. She's storing a brand new lawnmower in the neighbor's garage. Why the ghosts aren't just going into that garage and still messing with things, I don't know, but things survive in the neighbor's garage, not on my property for some reason. So, oh, well, good. Sue says I smudged my house and all the strange noises are gone and my fur kid isn't growling anymore.
Smudging works. It really does. It's such a pain to do, but it really does work.
Mm-hmm. Joe asks, I got the flying angel seeds. Is it okay to leave it in the little Ziploc bag?
Of course. Yep.
Karen suggests Spotify for listening. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder why that garage is so. You know what? In one of the stories in there, there was an old guy that liked to hang out there at least when I was there. And maybe before we put the seeds up, we'll have to do a little video or something and see if we happen to catch anything in there. But I don't know why that whole little plot of land just seemed to be overly.
I still say it has something to do with the ley lines there, because I've never had a house that has had anything that I can do has affected that house, which does not make any sense to me at all. It's like, you got the jackpot. Anything, you've got it. So
Yeah, well, you know what? And I
crazy.
think if we recorded something down at my mom's house, which is also in that town, like that is the only house that I've seen shadow people like twice. And that house has had its own range of weirdness. So it could just be that town or just certain parts in that town. But yeah. So if you want, Marianne, we can start showing some of these pictures.
Sure. People want to for sure see the front for sure.
Okay, so here is the outside front. Now, this is one of the pictures from Zillow. So if you wanted to, you could go to Zillow and type in the address, which maybe not, right? Let's let my tenant have her piece. So
yeah, no. don't do that.
That is the front. And if you notice on the left-hand side, that little bump out thing, that is the den where the boys would hang out and play. That was like their living room. Now, the window on the bottom floor closest to the tree, that's one of the windows for the living room, where some of the stories of like me wrapping presents and hearing this fall. The two windows on the top of the front of the house and the first window on the left is to that master bedroom. So that living room and master bedroom, if I remember right, they're decent sized rooms. They're like 15 by 20. So they're rather nice big rooms. And then all of those windows on the porch are a part of that den. So let's see here. That den, here's that den, and you can see that bump out, right, where you could put the casket for viewing. So this is where the boys would hang out. This is where one of the stories that I did not put in there, because I'm like, and it really isn't that important. Above that, as you remember in this picture, is a flat roof. And one of the things that Ghost was doing was peeling back the paper and all of that is a part of a flat roof, so it would leak. And I did have to replace, and it's cut off, but the ceiling in the upper left-hand corner, I had to try and go and match all those tiles. And you can see in the upper right where the tiles aren't quite right. That was another space where he had been messing with that flat roof.
See, they're real good with gutters too. They like to pull gutters off too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and people that have had trouble with ice, water backing up and freezing during the winter where you get leaks that way. So they put like this electrical wires up there to keep it warm so it doesn't freeze. Ghosts have pulled those out also.
Right. Somebody's like, is that a grumpy gnome in front? Yes. So if you look real hard, you see that cement little pointy thing by the pillar for the stairs. That is my gnome that somebody in town stole. And I knew, I could feel that he was in town somewhere, but couldn't find him, right? Because I knew they stuck him in a garage or something. And was like, you will mess with their electric. You're going to flatten the tires on everything with wheels. You're going to with everything until they bring you back. And they did the next summer. He just showed back up in the yard. I'm like, thank you. When was the house built? We everybody guesstimates about 1850s. There was a tornado that went through, took out a historical society. So all of those records are long gone, but the realtors, you know, who have experience in like looking at this type of stuff, they were ranging anywhere from the 1830s to 1870s. So we called it down the middle of 1850s. So the story about being in the living room, this is one angle of the living room from the double banister area. And you could actually do a circle in the downstairs of the house So this is the entry hallway where you can see into the living room. You can also see into the den. And on the other side of these closets is the kitchen. So this is where that circle could be. And then off the kitchen was the backdoor laundry room. So the story of, did I load up the kitchen picture? I did not. Of what sounded like the wild hunt coming through was because they came in through the back, through the kitchen, came around in through this entryway and out the front door. Sounded like a huge marching parade, boots stomping, you know. The boys were sitting, we were in this living room off to the left. They were sitting on the couch that faces that entryway. And they were just like, what is that? And I'm like, nothing, carry on. We are not going to freak out about this. Just let's have a good night. So there's that entryway. I know y'all are loving that orange shag carpet. It's catchy. I know y'all want it in your house too. Let's see. Here's another angle of that living room. Actually from the entryway, facing out, and where the brown couch is where like I was sitting when that whole ruckus went through. So yeah, this fun house. Let me see if I have the bedroom picture ready to go. Nope, that one didn't come down. Now, so the master bedroom was above that living room. And yeah, that big bang, Rune and I were in that living room, sitting on the floor, wrapping presents. You know, he's using his little finger to hold the paper in place so I can tape it, just having fun. And that's what we were doing. That was the room we were in when that huge sound happened. Yeah, that's the fun. These are the rooms mostly talked about in the story, other than the garage. But and actually, Marianne, when you came out, and this is a good angle, you and I were standing about where this picture was being taken. And when you came out to clear that ghost, he was standing in that far corner by where that couch is up against the wall.
Yes, he was.
Being just a jackass, because his last name was Bates, talking about Bates Motel and what he was doing in the house.
Oh, he's having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
He is having a good time. You know, and with kids, the bigger their eyes get, the more they like it. You know, scared kids, the big eyes, and they just love that.
Right. It's like, now I get why people move. You know what? Honestly, I moved because this house is about 25, 30 minutes away from work. I wasn't really I was annoyed, especially towards the end when my poor cat's being tossed down basement stairs unlocked, right? And now he's losing fur because he's so stressed. And this little corner here, actually, where's that other? So the ghost was messing with the cat so bad, Sith, and he's lucky he's cute, wouldn't use his litter box anymore and kept using and doing his business on the carpet right in front of the store. And nothing I tried, suggestions from vets, pet stores, other people, would work. He kept going right here. So every day, shampooing, cleaning, on top of working all day, now I'm having to re-shampoo carpets because of this little fuzzy kitty. Once Marianne got rid of that ghost, by the end of that day, he was back to doing his business in the box and never had a problem. So, yeah. I left mainly because I got tired of driving, all of that driving every day. And it wasn't really a problem until you mess with the cat, right? Because it was easy to explain other things away until being the only one in the house. I'm like, well, I can't be in the shower and simultaneously opening and closing 2 different bedroom doors at the same time. So, but I'm also more of that, quit fucking with me, more than I am oh my God, I want to leave. I'm that personality that I'm bring it on, but don't mess with my cat. Surprised to it. Did he fight you at all? Did he?
You know, a lot of times once they get caught, it takes the wind out of their sails. it's like, well, if she saw me, somebody else is going to, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember, but I believe that there was somebody he wanted to see. I don't remember if it was a relative, a parent, or a wife, but it was somebody he wanted to see. And that is why he was, gosh, if I remember, he was earthbound for what, like 80 years or something, if not longer.
Yeah, because I went and found his.
Yeah, and I don't remember when he died, but he was dead for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went and found him. I'm like, oh, you're that close, and I'm like, yeah, glad he finally left. Oh, you know what? I'll put this back up. So those windows off to the left of the den, and let me see, maybe this is a better picture. So the two windows on the left-hand side, these are the windows that are up on that porch. And those were northbound facing windows, and it seemed like those would have really good breezes that would come in, just the way of the air current from the buildings and the trees. And so those ones we would always have open. And those are the windows that lady, after you cleared our house and seeded it, that she would stand there and call out to Rune and would mimic. And this is the den that my friend Rhonda crashed out in. And then that door that's slightly open here on the right-hand side, that's the door to the stairs. And now my master bedroom, as you know, now is over that living room on the left. So the story of my voice calling down to her, down through the stairwell, and she can hear it into that den, but nobody else heard it. So, yeah, this was a fun house. But what does seeding the house do?
What that does is it will stop anybody that is earthbound from coming in. That's how I have people protect their houses once I've cleared them. Once those seeds are up, you'll never have that problem again. You move, you take them down, you call me. If your new house is clear, you can put them right back up again. The problem is you can't put them up without checking first, because if you've got an earthbound spirit in the house, it is going to trap it. And the one thing you do not want to do is trap a ghost, because they can get really vindictive. Yeah.
Even more pesky.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Sandy's like, I'm glad I visited after the seeds went up.
That's right.
We guesstimate about 1850. Based on, where's a good picture? So how big those windows were, and the thick wood, siding that was put on them, the layout of the house, based on all of that. And a fun thing, that's a tall ceiling as it is. It had been lowered already. So when my tenant came in and decided to remove this wallpaper that had been painted over, that's how we found out that there was like 4 or 5 layers of wallpaper on these walls. Took forever. And I'm like, I kind of hate you for starting this now. This is never going to end. And then you get up there, and there was probably another 1.5 feet of wallpaper above the ceiling where they had already lowered it. So it's had a lot of work kind of done to it. Supposedly not the family I bought it from, but the family they bought it from was the ones who did a lot of some of the putting down certain colors of carpet, like that orange carpet, and changing around some of those closets and stuff. So there's natural, really pretty wood floors. I just never had the time to redo them and buff them out the way you would have to, because that was always on my list of things to do, was to take that carpet up and show those wooden floors. Just never had time to. And that was another reason I left. I'm like, here's this older house that could be beautiful, and because it's old, it needs extra care. And I'm never home to do it. So I was barely maintaining maintenance, let alone improvements. But yeah, that orange shag carpet, it's no longer there. Tenant ripped it up.
Well, you know that they're looking now for raspberry pink shag carpeting now for Barbie's dream house. You realize that.
It's all going to come back. I think somebody said in chat that, retro's coming back.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But you can tell from the woodwork how thick it is, and that the house was, whoever had that house built had some money, because it was built really well, and it was built big. Houses weren't regular size houses, didn't have ceilings that high. Or, fireplaces, only the one?
Yes, one fireplace. It had the wood burning stove in the kitchen, which is no longer there. A tenant got rid of it. She's like, "Can I please get rid of this?" I'm like, "Go for it." Because the couple times that we tried to use it, all it did was heat like the immediate area of the kitchen. It didn't help heat the rest of the house. And the fireplace that's in the den was gas. So it looked pretty, but it didn't really
heat.
Yeah. The two basements, right? I don't have pictures of the basements. Both creepy in their own rights because they're dark. One is still unfinished mud. The other one I did have like waterproofed. Still creepy even with the waterproofing. At least you have white flooring now from the waterproofing instead of mud that you would literally like just sink down into constantly. So neither one were good for really storing anything. In the one off of the laundry room, you can tell like that outside part was added on and it had like this enclosed kind of area. And I'm like, well, that's creepy. What dead bodies were we storing there? And one of the realtors was like, oh no, that's where they would bring in livestock, probably pigs. And that's where they would pen them under the house for some heat in the wintertime. I'm like, oh, well, I'll be damned.
And of course, unfortunately, there was no air freshener then, so it must have been really ripe to be living like that.
Yeah. So if you haven't had they creepy as hell. And but it was the one off of the kitchen that Sif kept getting tossed down into, and that's the one with the door that like you turn the handle and you'd have to really like push it like body weight to get it to open. So he can't put himself down that door. He can't open it. He can't close it behind him, like latch it properly. And I'm the only one in the house. I'm not going to throw my poor cat down the stairs. So that's when I'm like, all right, it's time to get Marianne. You're not going to mess with my cat. So I'm sure there were other stories that I forgot or didn't realize were stories, things that I just said, those darn kids or that darn husband. So, and the fact that Rune was like, nah, I don't remember anything. So there was no extra coming out of there. Are there any history of rituals in the house? Just anything that I would do. This is a small town in Ohio. There's the train wreck that happened right across the street. So do I have a good picture of Not really. I was going to say you could look right out the one window and see the building that the train leaned on. It's like literally right across the street from the house. So if you look up for When Ghosts Speak on pretty much everything, iTunes or iPod, Apple Podcasts. There we go. Words are hard. Need to finish my coffee. It's on Amazon. It's free to listen to on any platform. It's still currently on Stitcher, though Stitcher as a company will be shutting down. It's everywhere. We try to put it in many places as we can, but it's called When Ghosts Speak. And you can go listen to that. Plus like 54 other story episodes of Marianne, your adventures going into other people's houses and what you've ran across there. So now, Marianne, we've got, we're not recording today because you are on a tight schedule today. And we may be moving the recording times to like Tuesday nights because schedules have been insane. So
really bad. Yeah.
So, and you can watch us record those live on Twitch. So if you are a Twitcher, you can find it. We do it under the store, Goddess Lead LLC is where you can find us, and we'll send out the notifications once we move it over to Tuesday nights. Let's see. I think there are a couple other questions about the house. Yeah, they were really nice, and they were the thinner wood slats that they used back in the day. And you could tell where there was kind of like a pattern that was starting, but that was as far as I wanted to pull that carpet and know that it would lay back down correctly.
Right.
So Shirley, not about the house, says, my son and husband both saw white mist on different days. What are white mist and what does it mean? They're both on the fence.
That could be an earthbound spirit. Absolutely. It would not be one that has crossed over because they usually show up as orbs. But that's probably, were they in the same room in the same house, or were they in different parts of the house or different days of it just depends. Were they seeing the same one on a different day? But yeah, that's probably an earthbound spirit. If that's something that happened recently, you probably want to come on a Zoom and make sure or see what it is.
Yeah. Lustrous Rose asks, I know that sometimes earthbound spirits don't want to leave. In your experience, what is your opinion in coexisting with an earthbound spirit who's happy being earthbound and who's not a stinker?
You can't. You cannot coexist with an earthbound spirit. It's not that they want to, but this being in your presence is going to drain your energy because that's what your present is their oxygen. If there's no earthbound spirits in an empty house, because who are they going to get any energy from? So no, there's no way. And that's why 99% of the houses that I do, the owners do not know who the ghost is. It's not a friend or a relative because they wouldn't do that to you.
And Carrillo says, when fishing in the past week in Colorado, walking to the river, a branch came out of nowhere, landed right in front of us, and I fell over it. Wearing charms and seeds and vehicles, did an earthbound spirit follow us?
Probably not. And that could have been a nature sprite or something that put that down in Colorado. It doesn't have to be a ghost.
Right? Especially if other humans maybe have been destructive and they're just tired of humans in general.
That's right. They like their privacy.
Marianne, is there anyone else you know that has the exact same ability as you besides Tara?
Just Tara that I know of. I don't know of anybody else. I don't know them personally. I know there's a lot of people out there that say they can do it, but I don't know them personally, no.
Let's see. Yeah, they do like to mess with pets and kids. Okay, I think I caught up with all the questions about the house and people talking about don't knock that orange shag carpet.
It's really good in the month of October. After that, forget it.
It was just, and it was so old, like in places it wasn't even cushy anymore. Like it was just trampled flat. And I'm like, this is so ugly. I can't wait to get rid of it. Right. Yay. Woo Woo Tuesday. So we'll let everybody know when that starts, the recording Tuesday evenings. And maybe that'll make it easier for everybody. Depending on your work schedule, that you won't be at work, you'll be able to join us for it. Yvonne says, when I lived with my grandmother from 82 to 87, it's so many experiences. It was so fun, but a bit scary. Do you find that there's more ghosts in like grandparent type of houses because of like, that's usually where people gather?
Sometimes, and sometimes it's the age or the neighborhood too. It just depends. And the thing is, you got to figure when a person can be called a grandparent, how many of their friends have already died and crossed over or haven't. So the older we get, the more people we know that are dead. I hate to say that, but it's sure the truth. And you just never know.
Let's see. Andy asks, are you able to remove earthbound spirits via video chat? My father began hoarding when they moved into this house. If so, how do I set this up?
No, I cannot get rid of them on a video chat or Zoom. I can give you different things to try on your own that have seemed to be working. I will tell you that. But no, I cannot do that. I guess what you have to do, first of all, is get a phone call from his house if you don't want to do a Zoom. And let me see if there's anything in the house that could be causing him to be a hoarder. That's funny because you're about the, gosh, I bet you're the sixth person in the past 3 weeks that have talked about a parent being a hoarder. Must be something new going around. I don't know.
Right. Amy's like, I can't do shaggy carpet. My feet are too sensitive. I mean, honestly, where it was still kind of cushy, maybe that's where they had their furniture hiding, to me, like it felt nice. Like I'm more of a carpet person than always hardwood flooring, but just way too much of it was just a waste, or ruined at that point.
And then there were the people that had shag carpeting that after they vacuumed, they had to get the shag rake. I don't know if anybody remembers the shag rake. And you rake the shag in the same direction so that it all looked like it was up and standing good.
I didn't know they had
such a thing. Oh, you're too young, but it existed.
Let's see. I thought I there. So will not be on Facebook. When we do the podcast recording Tuesday nights, those are going to be on Twitch. You can come over. Twitch is free. You can come over there. There's other things that we do on Twitch that Marianne doesn't supervise us on. She doesn't keep us in line. So
there's no mother watching over them, so they get away with all kinds of shenanigans.
Right. So, we'll do, it's usually Wednesday evenings that we're live again. And Brooke, who's in chat, and Sandy, who's in chat. And sometimes Chris joins us. We just metaphysical discussion, not just ghost and paranormal and card readings for free, for fun. Keeps us out of trouble because we're all too busy chatting online right now. What kind of trouble we get into in the topics,
we just know
under the terms of service. So let's see if we missed any other questions. We need Marianne on Twitch. Hello, thanks for joining. Is a car a pet? I don't think so. People like they name their cars and they baby them.
But there's a car does not have a spirit. You put your spirit into your car when you drive it, but a car does not have a life of its own. It is not going to be reincarnated. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, Judith remembers those rakes and freak out if the kids ran across the carpet after.
Oh, I know. It would make my mom so mad if we ran across it. And it was like, and the rake was so funny looking. It was like spikes with a little tiny ball on the end so that you could pull it through. Oh,
we missed the joke.
I didn't get that. No, see, I'm no good with that stuff. And it was really goofy looking, but yeah.
So my grandma was the one, like she would put down, why would you ever pick like a white cream carpet? But then she'd get those plastic carpet runners from the kitchen to the bathroom, from the bathroom to certain bedrooms. And God save you if you stepped off that carpet runner. And I'm like, then boy, get a bright colored carpet.
It wasn't so much, that didn't bother me as much as all the plastic on the furniture.
Thankfully,
even if it was winter, you stuck to it. It was terrible. And I don't know one Italian relative that didn't have their white brocade couch covered in plastic. It was terrible.
Thankfully, she didn't do that. But
oh my God.
you needed to take your shoes off before you hit the kitchen, and your
Oh
socks
yeah.
better not touch that carpet. You better
And
say,
they better be white socks too, because my mother had white carpeting. It better be white socks. You couldn't sit on her carpet if you had jeans on, because the jeans would rub off onto the carpet. Ugh.
Amber asked, my grandmother passed away in March. I haven't dreamt of her since the passing. Does that mean she's earthbound still?
You're only at 5 months. Usually it takes at least 6 months before somebody has a dream about somebody that has crossed over. Sometimes it can take up to 2 years depending on how the death went. But you'll probably get something for sure, October, November. Somebody by that point will have had a dream of her.
It's funny. We were just, you and I, talking about Lewis one of the last times together in person. The last time he joined us, he talked about how he had switched career paths. He went into, electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And I bet you, because he's working a trade now, he is probably working his little butt off.
Yeah.
And
but what a switch from dress designing to electrical. That's amazing.
To go from fashion to, and I think more guaranteed money.
Probably, yeah.
So we hope he can join us at some point again, even just to say hi. But yeah, that's the last he mentioned when he joined us. Patty asked, when someone passes, how long does it take after the death to show up as a bird or something to show us that they're visiting?
You don't turn into another species. You stay human. Cardinals may show up to remind you that it's them, or butterflies or ladybugs or a hawk or something that was something special to you and that person. So if you see it, you know that they're visiting, but you don't turn into a bird. No.
Yeah. Now, could maybe they help cause the bird to show up, from the other side?
Well, it's like when cardinals are there. Do they wait until a cardinal shows up and then they see it and they go there too? Or is it when they go, a cardinal comes? I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't even hazard a guess at that one.
Aaron says, is there any significance of dreaming of someone within a month of them passing?
They were absolutely ready, and they were on the right path, apparently, and they knew what they were doing. Or a lot of times, if it's an older person that has died and their spouse of 55, 60, 75 years, that would be a reason why they would come into a dream faster if they're worried about somebody like that. But normally, the first dream is about 6 months.
Let's see. Amy's saying Lewis will have fashioned wire covers.
There you go.
He's going to be the
glitzy.
Yeah, he'll have the best work outfit and colored tools. Somebody is asking how to join a Zoom, and so there's that link. That link will work forever and ever as long as we are still offering Zooms. So even if you're watching this on a replay, it will work. Let's go ahead and get the rules out. I still have yet to record this, so I don't have to say it every time. No one under the age of 18 needs to be a part of the Zoom. They start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we love friends from everywhere in the world joining us, but please, if you are not in the EST time zone, please adjust yourself to match us. It doesn't go the other way around. When you are signing up, there is a place where you're going to put your email in. Please make sure that is typed in correctly, because as soon as you fill it all in and you hit, go, the system is going to email you the confirmation that you paid and the Zoom link in one email. And if that email is wrong, it's going to bounce. You're not going to get it. I don't know what your email is. I can't fix it for you. Do not delete that email. Otherwise, you can't come in and join. So hold on to that until it's time to join us that evening. Please don't email me saying the system's broken, that you can't get in on a certain date. Once that date is full, it will not show up for you. It's going to automatically show you the next dates with available openings. It's not broken. It's working perfectly. So if you want in on a certain date, Do not wait, especially the day of. You're going to be too late. I think that's all of them. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
The other thing too, the webmaster got hold of me. Apparently it must be from podcast people who don't know. It wouldn't be anybody here because everybody is very aware here, but I don't look at my website. Apparently people are screaming on my website about, how do you get on Zoom? I can't figure it out. I don't see those. I can't help you. Just go to my website. You'll find it there someplace, or go to Melissa's. You can go that way too. Mm-hmm. So my website is an informational website only. It is not an interactive website. I do not correspond with anybody off of anything technical. So just you're wasting your time because I never see them.
Does smudging still work for a big house? There's only effective with rooms. It's effective. You just got to smudge.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you get every nook and cranny. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Did you have an attic in that house, Melissa? I don't remember.
Yes, and
we had it seated, right?
Yeah, I had to put one of my extra little charms and tape it up there.
Right.
It was not an attic I had ever physically been in because it was off of a closet and off of the upstairs bathroom. And it was one of those where you had to push the little board up and then hoist yourself up. And I'm like, you can't easily get a ladder that would be big enough to get up there through that curved stairway, through the door, and I'm like, how in the hell would anybody get up there?
Yeah. So but see, it would be something like that would be, you would have to get smoke up there if you were smudging. So you would take that little board down and have your lit smudge stick with the smoke and use a hair dryer or a little fan and blow it up there. You have to get creative, and if you're just doing it as maintenance, every 12 days, 14 days is fine.
There's my tenant. She has started looking.
You know what? I don't know why. It's just strange to me. You cannot believe how many houses I go to. People have lived in their house for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They've never gone in their attic. That's one of the first things. We've owned 6 houses. That's one of the very first things we do is go in the attic to see what's going on and get stuff out. And I can't believe that nobody goes in their attics.
At one point, the ex-husband somehow, I think he had a chair and stacked something else. It's amazing he didn't kill himself in how he managed. And he only got like partly up there, and he looked around and goes, looks like some old like VCR boxes or whatever. He's like, it's mostly empty. And I'm like, okay, fine. And we just left it at that, right? Because there were enough closets around to like store stuff. And we had the garage with the upper rafters that we would put like the Christmas stuff in, which we were lucky enough while we were there that nothing was breaking in the garage. She's like, we had a what's an eat this attic party before we moved after 8 years. And Brooke says they don't go into their attic at all either.
Well, I'm not saying you go in there and do a jig once a week, but don't you go in when you first buy your house and look at it and see what's going on? Check to see if the roof leaks or something, or I have found so much cool stuff in houses that we bought over the years. Some people put stuff up there and forget it's up there and never take it out. And there's some cool stuff you can find in an attic.
So, somebody asked if I ever found, my things that went missing out of the house, and there it is. And I'm like, now I wonder, are they up in the attic?
And there's that one house I did that when the contractor ripped down the ceiling, there was a small attic, but there was no access to it. And when the contractor ripped the ceiling down, all of this stuff fell out of the ceiling that was from the kids 30 years ago. You take the little dental card and you put it on the refrigerator, or a memo or a picture of one of the kids drew in kindergarten. She had grandchildren, and all this stuff was falling down from when her kids were little. So they hide stuff. So you never know what you're going to find in an attic. I can see where people are more creeped out with basements than attics.
Yeah, right. Because attics usually have a window. There's light. There's basement.
Right.
Not so much.
It's a cave, right?
Yeah.
We haven't, probably not till sometime in October,
Yeah.
around Halloween, and then we'll do it again in December for Christmas. But those are usually the only once in the spring.
Yeah. 3 times, like spring,
Halloween, and Christmas. Yeah, that's usually it.
Is it a good idea to smudge a car? Sure.
Absolutely, especially if it's not a new one. Well, it doesn't make any difference. They can go in something, or something could ride in your brand new car when you pick it up from the dealership. Of course you should smudge it.
Oh, says I live in an RV park that has had a lot of death in it. When it's a new moon or even full moon, if you look down the road, you can see someone walking to you. And as soon as they get around 10 feet away, they disappear like a swarm of bugs.
I have to tell you, trailer parks and RV parks, they are really unique with their earthbound spirits there. You know, I always talk about condos and apartments and like a fruit, a salad bar. They can go anywhere they want, into any rooms that they want. But people that live in trailers like that, they don't leave them. They don't leave them after they die either. And some of these ghosts are pretty nosy. I mean, they're in everybody's unit. So, there's a lot of them going on there.
And it's funny. I follow someone on TikTok who just found out they have a mimic in their house. Have you ever heard of this? And are they always negative? Actually, that's a couple of the stories in this morning's podcast of what happened in my house. So, yeah, I don't know.
They can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was that lady, and she either sounded a lot like me or she was just able to
make her voice sound like that. Or if you're soft enough. Usually the biggest one is the wife's name being called, or in the middle of the night, you hear, "Mommy, Mommy." And that's usually a ghost.
Mm-hmm. Jerry asks, after smudging, is it true that ghosts from outside don't like getting into the houses?
That's true. But again, smudging only lasts for a certain period of time. It's something you've got to keep up. It's like maintenance. You've got to do it on a really regular basis to keep them from coming in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I missed any other questions. Now, but yes, if you're interested and you have not listened yet, you can listen to When Ghosts Speak on every platform. It should be available in audio, Amazon Music, iTunes, anywhere. Like my mind's going blank in all of the big places that you can put it in. It's called When Ghosts Speak. It's got the cover of Marianne's book. So and
there's nothing, and it doesn't cost you anything to listen to it.
Mm-mm.
We're not that kind of a podcast. So yeah.
So yeah, you can listen to it whenever. We have them released early Wednesday morning. So if you're somebody that you like listening on the way to work or while you get ready for school or work, it's already there waiting for you. I think I have all of the questions. Oh, here we go. Have you ever questioned or talked to anyone? Why you? Why are you able to do this gift?
I have no idea. How come somebody can play a piano and I can't? It's whatever talent you have and how it's developed. So, if I didn't have the grandmother I had that had some ability, then I probably wouldn't be able to do it either. Or I would have lost it after a certain age, because all kids could do this, but when they reach a certain age, it disappears. So, but mine never did. So that's sort of why.
And have either of us been to Lilydale? I've been there a few times. I used to take bus trips, busloads of people out there through the store. The area is nice. The woods are nice. The ferries are nice.
It's okay.
Heather, are you local? I go to the store. I have the extra benefit, right, of having a lot of readers through the store who are certified, be it through Lilydale or, and I say this because who certify the people in Lilydale to turn around and certify other people?
That's
There's
such
no
a bunch of baloney.
and Fellowship of the Spirit. I know all of the political infighting goes on in the background and how they decide who they're going to certify. So there's a lot of people, human stuff that muck up.
People are human. People are jealous. People want something they can't have, or they want to do something that they can't do. But if you have a little certificate that says you are registered and you can do it, oh my God, then you can do it. No. So
Mhm.
I've been there more than once, and I'm not. Nope. It's
I,
okay. It's almost the end of summer. They're almost closed for the season.
So yeah. I enjoy the energy and the wilderness and the woods and all that fun stuff. When I've gone to demonstrations, I remember sitting there thinking like, I have better readers in my store than what I am watching right here. And my readers are going to charge you $120 for an hour, not 300 for the hour that they want you to pay them. And I'm like, they're fishing, they're giving general. Yeah.
Let me put it this way. They have all those talented people that can do so much woo-woo stuff. Why did they need me to clear out the ghosts? That's it.
And that's all we have to say about that.
That's right. Nothing else.
Let's see. You know, when they're standing up there and they're like, I have a grandma who baked. Here pretty soon that's not going to work because the times are going to change and nobody bakes really in the younger, right? But that's a general blanket statement for a bunch of people sitting in your audience who are anywhere from 45 to maybe 70 where that could apply. Now they're going to start fishing and finding that. And I'm like, I'm not, yeah. Okay. Diane's going to be going to an underground ghost tour in Scotland. And any suggestions on how to keep safe?
Boy, you make sure you wear a Quincy charm that you don't bring any Scottish ghosts home with you. But absolutely. I mean, that's anybody that goes through any of these tours, these ghost hunts, these cemetery walks, these prison tours, please, please, please just wear your Quincy so that you're protected 100%.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. We do have classes. If you go to goddessly.com and click on events, you're going to get the long list of events. And there's always a little thing down in the bottom corner that says more or next page. Make sure you click that to keep going out. Let's see. All right, Marianne, are you ready to do your announcement?
Sure.
Announcement.
Okay. We're taking a little bit of a break here. This will be the last Wednesday morning for a while. There's not enough hours in a day anymore. I'm running with Ted to so many different doctors and hospitals and here, there, and everywhere. I just don't have the time anymore. And maybe when things get on more of an even keel, we can pick it up again. So just keep a watch on, Melissa will let you know, or we'll let you know on the podcasts, or those are going to keep up and Zoom is going to keep up. But I got to knock out this Wednesday morning for right now anyway. So
that's one reason why we're moving the podcast recordings on Twitch to a Tuesday evening, because doctor's appointments don't happen in evening times. So
no, they don't. So, and when you got to be from Lake County all the way to Southwest General Hospital at 7:00 in the morning, I just can't keep up like that anymore. So it's too hard. So I wish I could say I'm getting younger every day, but that just doesn't work that way. And so makes you tired. So like I said, we just need a little bit of a break here.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for when we can start the Tuesday evening recording. You can join us live there on Twitch. And I'm sure usually when we're done recording, if there are questions,
We talk a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we goof off and talk. So we have to line out some schedules. I can't guarantee that it'll be this Tuesday, but we will put it out there somehow, some way.
I think we tentatively have it set for August 1st, which is the next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what we tentatively, but you got to check your schedule because I just sprung this on you this morning, so you don't really know yet. So
it should be fine. Should be fine. So as of right now, we will say join us that Tuesday evening on the 1st, and we were thinking about 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Right, which would be 5 o'clock in California. So, which is still doable if you wanted to come from that, be there on from that direction.
Yeah. So hopefully, maybe it'll be a good, hopefully less people like having to do this while at work. I know like Sandy has us down low while she's at work, she's sneak chatting and listening with us. So hopefully less people will no longer have to try and, do this while
sneak it in. Right.
So Twitch is free to join, guys, to make a profile if you haven't already. We're over there. There's other things that the store does lives as well that you can be a part of and catch us with. So yeah, thanks for the understanding. And hopefully when some things settle down, maybe we can, we hopefully plan on coming back.
Even keel. Just got to get on an even keel here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so everybody have a good rest of your summer, and stay safe and stay cool in this heat for this week. And at least we're not being sweltered like the rest of the country. So
I know. I've got some friends that live out in Arizona, and I'm just like, oh, good God.
I got people in Texas and Florida, and they're dying down there. Their air conditioners aren't being able to handle it, and so here they are in their 60s and 70s in a house with no air conditioning with that heat. But there's no such thing as global warming. Oh no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. So. No. If you're in that, please stay safe. Let us know you're okay. Like Brooke, I'm looking at you. Brooke is in one of those states. I'm not going to call it out. She can offer it if she wants. But stay safe, guys. Stay hydrated. Stay cool if you can. She's like, we're okay. Awesome. And just keep an eye out. We will put it in socials. We'll put it in emails, on websites, announcements.
It'll be on the newsletter that comes every month from, me. And as soon as we're getting ready to start up again, you guys will be the first to know.
That's right. Make sure to be like, hey, come play with us again.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And a lot of people are like, hey, let us know if you need help hearing one. So
appreciate it. Just send some white light. Always can use that. Prayers and white light are good. So,
all right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging with us, and look for us Tuesday evening on the 1st at 8 o'clock for a podcast recording. And we love you guys. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.